Morning, children. I hope you all are fine. We have already started to learn this lesson, The Shoemaker. This is extract from Charles Dickens' story, Tale of Two Cities. I already told you the man, Dr. Manette, he was in the prison for almost 15 years for none of his mistake. And he's been released and he was taken care by his servant, Monsieur Defa. Now, his daughter is coming to visit him, and this doctor, he's out of his mind, like he's lost because he was in the prison for a very long time, and he totally stopped talking to people, had cut off with the outside world. It was very difficult for him to speak to anybody, and he was lost, like it took very long time for him to realize whether where he is, who is around him, and all those stuff. Okay, so in the continuation, what we have learned is about this man is very busy sitting and stitching the shoe, and he is having a visitor. Okay, and his servant who was looking after him is coming and telling him, Defa, that there is a visitor. So we'll continue to read. Who knows a well made shoe when he sees one? Show him that shoe you are working at. Take it, monsieur. Mr. Lorry took it in his hand. Tell monsieur what kind of shoe it is and the maker's name. The maker's name you should know, isn't it? When we go to buy a shoe, we are very much aware of the brand like Nike, Bata, Skechers, like that. The maker's name. There was the a longer pause, that is gap. Pause means stop. Then, than usual, before the shoemaker replied. So the shoemaker was replying, I forgot what it was you asked me. What did you say? So, this conversation tells us that the old man who was sitting and stitching the shoe, it took very long time for him to realize his surrounding. The reason being, he was in the prison for a very long time, so he cannot adjust himself to the direct sunlight because he was always kept locked in the prison. So it was very difficult for him to talk to people and to adjust himself with the sunlight. So the reply is that I said, couldn't you describe the kind of shoe for Monsieur's information? That was a question. So now the shoemaker is replying, it is a lady's shoe. It is a young lady's walking shoe. It is in the present mode. That means now it is available. I never saw the mode. Like, because he was in the prison for a very long time, he cannot recognize or realize. He has not seen this kind of shoes. That's the meaning of it. I have had a pattern in my hand. He glanced at the shoe with some little passing touch of pride. And the maker's name? Said Defag. Now that he had no work to hold. Because the shoe has been taken from him, the visitor is holding the shoe and they are asking him questions regarding it to bring him back to the real life. So now he's not having anything to hold in his hand. He laid the knuckles of the right hand in the hollow of the left. You know, knuckles, when you fold your hand, the fingers, when you fold the bony part on the top, that is called knuckles. Okay, that one he is keeping. and then the knuckles of the left hand in the hollow of the right, like both his hands is keeping, and then passed a hand across his bearded chin. So he's having beard in his chin and he's just holding that. And so in regular changes without a moment's intermission. Intermission means gap. So without giving a gap, he's continuously going on doing this. The task of recalling him from the vacancy into which he always sink past tense, sank, when he had spoken, was like recalling some very weak person from a swoon, or enduring in the hope of some disclosure to state the spirit of a fast dying man. So this explains to us that it was very difficult for him to get him out of the like loneliness. He's lost in his mind. He is not able to realize where he is. Did he ask me for my name? So again he's asking a question. Assuredly, I did. Yes, of course I asked. That's the meaning. 105 North Tower. Is that all? 105 North Tower. So he's going on repeating the words that is in his mind. Children, I want you all to learn the word and the meaning that's given here. With a weary sound, weary means tired, weary sound that was not a sigh nor a groan, he bent to work again until the silence was again broken. You are not a shoemaker by trade. Trade means you are not a professional shoemaker, said Mr. Lorry, looking steadfastly at him. His haggard eyes turned to Defarge as if he would have transferred the question to him. But as no help came from that quarter, they turned back on the questionnaire, that is, they missed the eyes, when they had sought the ground. I am not a shoemaker by trade. No, I was not a shoemaker by trade. I learnt it here. I taught myself. I asked to leave to. So what is this old man is telling? Is we all know from the beginning of the storyteller is telling us that he was a doctor, and by mistake he was sent to prison. So he is not a shoemaker. He is not a cobbler who stitches shoes. He's not a. He's not. That is not his profession. Okay. So he's telling, I am not a shoemaker by trade. No, I was not a shoemaker by trade. Okay. He lapsed away. That means suddenly he's losing his mind. Okay. Even for minutes, ringing those measured changes in his hands the whole time. His eyes came slowly back at last to the face from which they had wandered. When they rested on it, he started and resumed in the manner of a sleeper that moment awake, reverting to a subject of last night. Like a person who had a dream, like he was sleeping, is half asleep, so he is not able to come back and realize where he is now. I asked leave to teach myself, and I got it with much difficulty after a long while, and I have made shoes ever since. As he held out his hand before the shoe for the shoe that had been taken from him. So he's responding when they asked, "You are not a shoemaker by profession, by trade." When they said like that, he was answering, "Yes, of course, I am not a shoemaker." and I learnt it with great difficulty. So he is stretching out his hand and asking them to give the shoe back to him. Mr. Lorry said, still looking steadfastly in his face, Monsieur Manette, do you remember nothing of me? Actually, this Mr. Lorry was his, he was working in a bank. Even now he's working. So he had long, before he could go to the prison, he had acquaintance with him. So now he's taking care of whatever the property he has got. So he's asking, Monsieur Manette, do you remember nothing of me? The shoe dropped to the ground and he sat looking fixedly at the questioner. Now, the old man is looking at the question. The question is Mr. Lorry, okay? Monsieur Manette, Mr. Lorry said, he laid his hand upon the fox's arm. Do you remember nothing of this man? That is, he is showing to his servant and asking, you don't remember this servant? You don't remember me that I was working in the bank? Like, these are the questions. Look at him. Look at me. Is there no old banker, no old business, no old servant, no old time rising in your mind, Monsieur Manette? So, all these questions Mr. Lorry was asking, trying to make him recall all these people who he had contact before he went to prison. As the captive of many years sat looking fixedly by turns at Mr. Lorry and Defarge, some long obliterated marks of an actively intent intelligence in the middle of the forehead gradually forced themselves through the black mist that had fallen on him. They were overclouded again. They were fainter. That means slowly he can recall. They were gone, but they had been there. And so uh, exactly was the expression repeated on the fair young face of her who had crept along the wall to a point where she could see him and where she now stood looking at him with the hands which at first had been only raised in frightened compassion, if not even to keep him off and shut out the sight of him, but which were now extending towards him, trembling with eagerness to lay the spectral face upon her warm young breast and love it back to life and hope. So, exactly was the expression repeated, though in stronger characters, on her fair young face, that it looked as though it had passed like a moving light from him to her. So this paragraph explains to us that as he is trying to recall after Mr. Larry's question, this young lady who is about 17 years old, that is when this girl was born, when she was 2 years old, her mother died and her father went off to prison. So now she is almost 17 years. When she was 2 years old, her mother never told her anything about her father who has been to prison, and he has never seen her. He only has knows that he has got a child because his wife was pregnant. Now this girl comes to know that her father is alive. She was thinking he was dead. Now she knows that he is alive. She is trying to get this old man out of his lost world and make him understand that she is his daughter and she wants to give her love to him and make him uh, be active, be lively once again. That is the try she is trying to make. Darkness had fallen on him in its place. He looked at the two, less and less attentively, and his eyes in gloomy abstraction sought the ground and looked about him in the old way. Finally, with a deep long sigh, he took the shoe up and resumed his work. So the girl was trying to stretch her arm, trying to get him, hug him, and make him understand. But he just looked at all these people. Three of them are there, and again he looked around him and he started to resume. Means he's again started to stitch the shoes, mend the shoes. Have you recognized him, Monzo? Asked the frog in a whisper. Yes, for a moment. At first, I thought it quite hopeless, but I have unquestionably seen for a single moment the face that I once knew so well. Shh, let us draw further back. Shh, she had moved from the wall of the garret very near to the bench on which he sat. There was something awful in his unconsciousness of the figure that could have put out its hand and touched him as he stooped over his labor. Stoop means bending, and he was working. Not a word was spoken, not a sound was made. She stood like a spirit beside him, and he bent over his work. So the girl, his daughter, was standing beside, and he did not realize, he did not recognize that it is his daughter. She was his daughter, and he was continuing to do the work. It happened at length that he had occasions to change the instrument in his hand for his hand for his shoemaker's knife. So this man, the girl is standing beside him, and Mr. Lorry and his servant Defak, they are standing around, not looking, not aware of all these people around him. He is continuing to do his work. The shoemakers will have knife to cut the leather and other instruments. It lay on that side of him which was not the side on which she stood. So where the girl was standing one side, the other side the instruments, the knife. He had taken it up and was stooping to work again. He took the instrument and started to mend the shoe. When his eyes caught the skirt of her dress, he raised his and saw her face. So the girl was standing, he's bending down, stooping down, working, and he saw the frill, her skirt down, and he looked up at her face. The two spectators, that means the two people who are looking at each other, started forward, but she stayed them with a motion of her hand, and that means she stopped those two people, and she was looking at her father. She had no fear of his striking at her with the knife, though they had. So the old man had knife in his hand, but she was not afraid that he may harm her with the knife. He stared at her with a fearful look. Here it is given started. Please take away that T. STARAD. Stare means looking at someone. He stared at her with a fearful look. And after a while, his lips began to form some words, though no sound proceeded from them. So he is trying to say some words to the girl. And the conclusion of the story is that at last the girl reveals herself to him, and he also is slowly trying to understand see his wife's hair, all the beauty of his wife in this girl, and slowly he is trying to realize that it is none other, that girl is none other than his daughter. So that is the conclusion of the story, and the girl takes her father to England. So she is living in England. From there, she comes to France, Paris. Father is a Frenchman, mother is a English woman. So she takes her father with him to live with her in England. From this story, the comprehension, tick the correct options. There was an air of dash around the shoemaker. He was worried. There was an air of worry around the number two. The shoemaker was uncomfortable in bright light. Next, number three, the shoemaker found it difficult to speak because he had been quiet for very long. He has not spoken to anyone for very long. Number four, the shoemaker had never seen the mode of the shoe he was making because he had been in prison for a long time. Number five, the phrase shut out the sight of him means not wanting to see him in this state. So, I want you all to read this whole story and especially the words and the meanings and do this comprehension. The remaining book exercise as well as classwork question answers will learn in the next class. Have a good day, children. Bye.